Welcome back to Lanterne Rouge Cycling Podcast, the recap of Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift Stage 3. We have huge GC ramifications today, if not action, unfortunately. A very important crash in the last 4 kilometers or 5 kilometers of this stage. It is a sprint stage, no real crosswind possibilities. I think there were splits, but it wasn't really due to crosswinds. Tomorrow we have a similar stage as well, so maybe the organisers got a little bit unlucky with the wind direction. Benji, thank you. Thank you to you for carrying the ship yesterday.
Holding down the fort.
Yep. And
what were you doing, mate? Where were you? You left us all behind. Everybody yesterday was like, where's Patrick gone? Where is he?
I'll do my play-by-play. So, woke up 6:12 a.m. 6:12 a.m. Coffee, put it in the portable cup. Drove Andorra to Toulouse. Got a double egg muffin at the Toulouse McDonald's for breakfast.
Why that decision?
Because the Foire McDonald's was shut. It opened at 8:30. And then got the TGV from Toulouse to Paris. Then got the metro, but half the metro stations were shut, to the hotel. Got changed, got dressed, walked then to the finish in the pavilion. Started raining a lot, and then was basically huddled under a tent watching on my phone Van Aert drop Pogačar. In fact, my phone was so delayed that I was trying to analyze. This is the next level analysis, Benji. I was trying to analyze what was happening on the race from the fan audible reactions to the big screens.
Okay.
And I was like, they're like, oh, whoa, oh. And then I thought, I don't think that's Pog dropping Van Aert. I think probably it's a pro Van Aert crowd. So probably something good's happening for Van Aert. And indeed, Van Aert dropped him. Then I went out and watched in the rain for the last K. Then went to the Visma after party. Didn't go, not too crazy. I wasn't really hungover this morning. We went out and about. Caught up with Zach, one of the photographers that does all the big races. Check out Zach on Instagram. His photography does some cool. Zach Williams does some sick shots. And now I'm here. I went to the sauna. Did a sauna and then a steam room rotation, and so now I feel fully recovered.
Sounds like a great strategy because you seem well prepared, well fitness, well peaked. You are ready for the Tour de France Femmes, I must say. Stage 3 today, which was arguably a stage that is not the most hyped one of the entire stage race, but it's a stage that we were looking forward to the last 10 kilometers of, is how I previewed it yesterday, which was a sprint stage from La Gacilly to Angers, 163 kilometers, mostly flat, to be honest, 1 QOM point in the first 30-ish kilometers, so potentially some polka dot action there. Intermediate sprint in the last 40-ish kilometers, and then we've got the sprint at the finish line, which is slightly uphill, I guess, is how I describe it. So that is something we need to keep in mind. And you hinted at it already. There's been some drama on today's stage that hopefully doesn't have crazy consequences, but we should start at the beginning, Patrick. Early breakaway, Alison Jackson, Sarah Martin. So Alison Jackson from EF Oatly, Sarah Martin from Movistar, Catalina Soto from Laboral. She's a national champion. Clémence Latimier in the break as well for Arkea. There was a chasse patate behind of 2 riders trying to jump towards this breakaway, but that didn't work yet. So we went to the QOM point, the first climb of the day, the only classified climb, and Alison Jackson won the sprint there over Sarah Martin, but like Shabby's got like 9 points or 10 or something. So these riders ain't getting close by these action in the stage. There was one crash in the first half of the race. Marion Bunel was down again. She was down in stage 1 as well. Maeva Scriban was also involved there. 5 riders in total, but I didn't write down every name. I'm sorry about that. SD Works was controlling in the peloton. I think Vash came to the front a little bit. Most of the team of SD Works was doing work at the front of the peloton in this stage. And Patrick, did you view the intermediate sprint? If not, take a look at the notes.
I did not. I was pleasantly surprised to see Jackson in the breakaway. I think more classics, sort of classic sprinters. We saw Bionic in the breakaway yesterday, but with Francisco Koch again and with Charlotte Kool out, it kind of forces these teams that don't have a sprinter. So For example, EF, they're like, they don't think it's realistic to win with Rook. Movistar Lippert was out, so they went with Bjanic in the breakaway. And Picnic Post and L, Charlotte Cool's out, so they just tried to attack whenever possible.
Yeah.
We did see, like, Visma did nothing. I think they know they can't beat no one can beat Vibers in this sprint, like, realistically. Even if Kopeki's a bit undercooked, which clearly she does look that way, she can do a flat lead out. She can position her fine. But Vos could take the yellow jersey back from KLCP, who took it yesterday. So they kind of did nothing. Pardon?
Kim Lecourt-Pinar for the people that are listening to this pod for the first time.
They got to catch up. They got to catch up.
Fair.
Contavious Caldwell-Pope. And my Detroit Pistons shooting guard. Yeah, that's gone over Benji's head.
I don't know if you're trying to get me to like respond to that, but I have no clue what words you just mentioned.
No need for a response. Just a miscellaneous NBA shooting guard.
I swear, if you didn't tell me NBA, I would not have had a clue what sport pointing guard was. I was literally thinking about American football.
Yeah, the shooting guard's the one that throws it from the line of scrimmage in NFL. And
scrimmage? Anyway, so skip. Intermediate sprint.
I'm not explaining all for me.
I think you just self-muted yourself. So the break takes the points, and at the front, 4 riders from the breakaway take the points. So in the peloton, we see Lorena was sprinting against Marianne Vos for the points there, and we see the lead out towards the intermediate sprint where Wiebes and Vos are kind of not sitting exactly at the front. So Wiebes goes early, Vos goes to the wheel, and they ride over the line in that order. So Wiebes takes about 13-ish points, I think, and then maybe Vos takes about 11, which means that after this intermediate sprint, the difference between the two is Marianne Vos in green by 2 points over Wiebes. So we'd see at the end of the day if Wiebes beats Vos or if Vos beats Wiebes, how that classification would change. But in general, I think it's fair to say that SD Works was taking control of most of the stage at this point, and taking control of most of the stage, and I'm thinking about pacing at the front, but also we saw in certain moments that Canyon would come to the front, and with Niviadoma in second position and a rider in front of her to try and position her for certain descents, and then we did notice that they were also at the front, but that wasn't necessarily for pacing down the breakaway. That was more for positioning, like I mentioned. Anyway.
Well, how did Niviadoma win the Tour last year?
Not crashing?
By being in second wheel through a narrowing and a roundabout with Dygert whacking it, and there was a crash behind, and that's how she won the Tour de France last year.
Yep.
So be in position, use Dygert in that fashion.
And on top of that, this break actually had a solid gap at certain points, 2 minutes 40, whatever, with about 30, 40 kilometers to go, that kept going down. But Patrick, I wanted to talk about the last 10 kilometers here with you, because I see this breakaway, 4 riders. Sure, Latimier of Arkea is maybe the weakest of the 4 riders, and with the first movements in that breakaway, attacks, then Latimier goes off the back. But why is this breakaway with a gap of 35, 40 seconds with about 10 kilometers to go, attacking each other for the combativity prize when they've got 35 seconds on the peloton?
I thought I was maybe in some sort of Picasso absinthe-fueled fever dream watching this, and I really was like, what are they doing? It's fair enough to finesse in the last K, the last 500 meters when you've got 8 seconds and it's going to be touch and go. This break was pretty strong. You never know what could happen, Benji. What if this break cooperated and they would have been caught with 2 Ks to go? But there's a crash behind. There could be a crash behind where half the lead outs are caught behind and you still make it. Could happen. And they're full track standing at 8 Ks to go with a gap of 30 seconds. I have no idea why. I don't know who really was to blame. They all kind of just bought into it. It meant they had 0 chance to win the stage and they got caught way earlier than they should have. Very, very strange.
And I don't even know who won combativity in the end. So I guess that shows the difference in how well known it is who won combativity at the end versus the potential chance of a potential stage win. So Sarah Martin attacking, Alison Jackson attacking, Soto responding to that attacking as well. They self-neutralized themselves. They self-caught themselves. they caught their own gap to disappear in no time. And with about 4 kilometers to go, they were gone, basically. So we saw the sprinting teams moving up. Visma Lease bike positioning Marianne Vos. Rivas was being positioned by SD Works, but SD Works had spent quite a few riders in the chase all day, so maybe that would, in between quotes, impact their lead out in some sense. But Patrick, with about 3 to 2.5 kilometers to go, the peloton goes into a right corner, and there it goes wrong for one of the favorites of this Tour de France. Tell me.
So there's this right-hand corner, and everyone wants to be in position. The last 5K, so they're in the safety zone, Benji, and this is what we talked about a lot, often in the men's Tour de France, and we saw Pogacar for a number of years dicing with danger, trying to stay in front position. Roglic always in the worst zone, and the worst zone, we discussed this in the Tour de France, is not at the front, not at the back, in the middle, or like front third, row 10, middle, especially coming into a corner like this. Because if there's a crash on the inside of the corner where the dive bombers are, that is going to cut across. The momentum of the dive bombers are going to cut all the way across the row. And if you're in that mix zone, that's where you're going to get taken out. And if you're at the back leaving braking space with teammates, you're fine. If you're second wheel with a teammate in front of you, you're fine. The middle is bad, and that's where we see all the lead-outs trying to dive bomb or the people wanting to get involved in the sprint. There's a Ceratizit rider, I don't know who it was.
Don't know.
Really bad. Really, really bad. Like, they completely shoot the right-hand corner or the right-hand inside, and they got no chance to make it. Like, they have no chance. They never braked at any point and just straight up chopped themselves on the back of Kasia Niewiadoma's wheel. Actually, I think it was Kasia's back wheel. They just full chopped themselves. They go all the way and just slide across the line, chopping, then taking out that whole row. And one of them gets her front wheel obliterated, and it's Demi Vollering.
Exactly. Demi Vollering crashes, but also at the same exact time of that Ceratizit rider on the right in the inner corner doing that, Balsamo kind of does a lighter version of that on the outside, where she also goes way too hot into the corner. So there's 2 crashes happening at the same time in this corner, and Vollering's in the middle of it. So Vollering gets the hurt from both angles. She's on the floor. She's not necessarily getting up that quickly. There's multiple teammates there, so we realize, okay, it's an important rider from FDJ Suez, so it's probably Demi Vollering sitting there. She eventually gets up. I learned a new word today, hobbling. Apparently that's an English word. I just call it limping. She was limping towards the bike, and it didn't look that vibrant. Obviously, I'm hoping that she's okay, because I want to see the best possible Demi Vollering fighting it out in this Tour de France Femmes. But it did not look great at first. How did you feel about it on the bike?
She looked terrible. And hopefully it's just a stinger. So she goes down hard on her left side. She looks like she lands back, left hip, and lower back. And so she does slide, which is good, better than sticking, but she looked like she straight up couldn't pedal. Hopefully it's just a stinger. We've got a couple of easier days coming up. There's no crosswinds or hills or anything. I think if there was a stage like yesterday, tomorrow she'd have big problems with an aggressive Niewiadoma who has Niewiadoma attacked yesterday. Niewiadoma's in front position today. She knows that increasing variance and going crazy in these sort of stages and getting the right side of luck is how she can win the Tour de France, but I don't know. Hopefully she can start tomorrow. I mean, if she gets scans and she's broken something, then probably she'll be out. But it didn't look good, Benji, and we've got a hard stage in 3 days. Like a properly hard stage. So it's just really bad luck. Well, no, it's actually not bad luck fully.
It's not.
The reason the 5K to go zone is there is so you pull off and go. You don't need to fight in the mix anymore. And I'm glad they had extended it to 5Ks to go, because otherwise loads of GC contenders lose time in that corner. But I hope she wasn't trying to stay in the mix to do a lead out for Wollaston. I hope.
I hope so too. To me, it looked like she was trying to keep herself in a position in the final, and she lost the position that she was in row 2, etc., just before that corner where the crash happened.
But she didn't leave space, She still went into the corner not like braking back, braking, decelerating, letting the other people just dive bomb or whatever. So
Yeah.
PFP gets lucky. Van der Breggen was in better position forward. Niewiadoma gets a little bit lucky. PFP, I think, was at the back giving braking distance. So really shit, Benji. We got Elisa Longa Borghini out with sickness this morning. Royce out before they even exited neutral functionally. She was at the car in stage 1. Labou looks bad, crashed in neutral. Vollering's just crashed on a left. This is a race of elimination, Benji. And somehow Sarah Giganti's only on 20 seconds. So, I mean, she must be laughing.
Yeah, but the Corpina are also doing fantastic on that end. So it's not just Giganti, it's the combination of those two for that team. Looking fantastic at the moment. And yes, it's a game of elimination. There's also uncertainty about the climbing strength of certain riders. For example, Ferran Prevot being great on stage 1, perhaps great on the long climbing efforts as well, but we haven't seen it this year. There's all these question marks now where it certainly makes the last half of this race less predictable. And this crash of Demi Vollering does the same. I'm hoping that the consequences are not too hard and that it was just like a first reaction of pain when the crash happened, and hopefully she's on the bike tomorrow.
And shock and stress and
yeah. Well, try to fight through. Let me add on to that if she's injured, she shouldn't ride tomorrow. But hopefully she's not injured. That's what I'm trying to say. But anyway, we're going towards the sprint, Patrick. Last 1.5 kilometers, Wibbes being positioned by the likes of Kopecky. We see Vos being positioned as well by, was it Imogen Wolf?
No, it was Femke de Vries and Van Aert, and it was mostly Femke de Vries. They go right. Kopecky then, Van der Breggen had been pulling. Van der Breggen pulls off, goes to the back. Kopecky then just slides onto Femke de Vries' wheel. EF rider begins a lead up, maybe Naomi Ruch. I think there was Alison Jackson still made it. It's a smaller group, and let's be honest, we all watched the Giro. We all watched, the Giro. There was a very similar, actually, sprint, Benji, where there was a crash in a roundabout, and then it's a sprint of like a small group of 10.
Yep.
Wiebes is the fastest sprinter in the world. This is a flat finish. Wiebes is going to win. When she has a lead out, she's even more likely to win. And when it's a small group where you can't get boxed in, she's even more likely to win because then there's no variance factors. So,
but is there a variance factor called Noemi Ruch, who launches her sprint with 450 meters to go? Like, normally you'd say, that's fucking stupid. But on the other hand, if you don't do it there, you're going to lose from Wiebes anyway. So you might as well try, no?
Well, I'd argue, that's more sense. I mean, maybe that makes more sense to me than Visma just doing a lead out.
Yeah.
Like, they should have maybe tried to make Kopecky do something or chase them down.
The thing with Visma, though, is that if Visma doesn't do a lead out and Vos launches early or something with 400 meters to go, then there are realistic odds that she ends up losing more green jersey points than if Visma had just done a lead out against Wiebes.
Vos seems like, I think Vos was talking about not even contesting the sprint today. She's learning media tips from Van Aert or something.
But that's bullshit. I'm never. She's literally in the green jersey. That'd be fucking stupid.
And once it's a smaller group, she has to do it. Also, she needs to sprint for yellow. If she takes stage placements or 1 bonus second, she takes yellow off KLCP. So Vos was going to sprint. She gets in a battle with Ali Wollaston. Wollaston takes the wheel of Wiebes off Vos. Vos then goes around her lead out, goes back in front, gets her bars in front of Wollaston, moves her off Wiebes' wheel. And then Wiebes actually tries to surprise everybody. She goes a bit early. She doesn't wait for Kopecky to do the lead out. I actually really thought, this is why she never loses, because she's smart. She's like, okay, I'm just going to not get boxed in or jumped.
Yeah.
Wiebes jumps, Vos is in the wheel, separation to Wollaston behind, and Vos is just full gas holding the wheel. And you all know how this ends. Wiebes wins the stage, of course, in dominant fashion, ahead of Marianne Vos. In second, Wollaston third, Megan Jastrab fourth, good result for Picnic. Lippert fifth, Shari Basoit sixth, Elena Janssen seventh. She's like, a million top tens already. Niewiadoma eighth, Ruch ninth, Brand 10th in terms of GC. Vos retakes the yellow jersey by 6 seconds ahead of KLCP. Ferran Prevot on 12 seconds, Niewiadoma 16, Wiebes 16, Vollering 19, Van der Breggen 21, Peters 21, Royackers 25, Fisher Black 25, Dygert 25. Where's Giganti? Why is she on
40
45?
seconds.
Where she lose all
She
that
lost some
time?
time in the first 2 days. I think she was on 39 seconds yesterday.
Oh, that's Boney's plus her 20-second gap, more or less. Okay. So she's on 20 seconds to like the other GC leaders. Vollering and PF...
Respect Le Cours-Pinard. Respect Le Cours-Pinard, sir.
But Gigante's going to drop her on Madeleine.
Well, depends what the order of the mountains, right? Well, guess we'll find out.
Not much to say about the sprint, frankly, Benji. This is how it was always going to end. Because, yeah, with Kopecky and Wiebes there, the big story is indeed the crash of Vollering and what that means for GC. Let's talk about tomorrow's stage. It is from Saumur to Poitiers. It could have been a little bit of crosswinds, but I don't think this wind is strong enough. It's 131 Ks, intermediate sprint 86 Ks in, one categorized climb, 900 meters, 5.4%. In the final, there's a 600 meter, 4% hill, but it's like 3 Ks from the finish. That's nothing. That should not change anything. Then it's like a slightly downhill sprint. And I really can't see any result except for Wiebes winning this sprint.
Agree. Lorena Wiebes wins tomorrow because it's a flat sprint stage and she's the best sprinter in the world. As simple as that. So there's not much to add here. I also think we need to highlight that Niewiadoma is once again still looking good after 3 stages in this Tour de France Femmes, which she's been so consistent in the last 3 editions of the Tour de France Femmes, 2 times third and obviously winning last year, that you can never just skip over her. So she's definitely a rider that also, it's hard to say, but benefits from Demi Vollering crashing. And you mentioned it earlier, Niewiadoma is a rider that also positions herself better for these moments. She was only 1 position in front of where she would have been hit, so she got lucky a little bit as well. But you also make your luck in positioning. So the team held her forward throughout the day, kept her in P2 for a lot of the moments, even pacing in the peloton for doing so. So that's credits to Canyon Schramm for doing so. But that's all I have for you, Patrick, today.
Yeah, I think the riders that are just not sick, did a full preparation and haven't crashed are the ones that are going to get a good result in GC here. Or all of this is irrelevant and a pure climber like Gigante, who might even be on 2 minutes by Madeleine, can still win GC because they're so much better at climbing than maybe the classic style riders like PFP and Niewiadoma, who aren't the best pure climbers, although that remains to be seen. So unfortunate for the race. It has dampened my enthusiasm a little bit, Benji. I was hoping for hopefully Vollering's okay, but I was hoping for ELB, Reusser in top shape, Vollering in top shape, a pure climber here.
Sure, the crash has dampened me a little bit today. It says stuff like that, but at the end of the day, I'm still as hyped as I was at the start of the race. Seeing Kim Le Cours-Pinard do so well the first few days, Fran Prévost stepping up on the first day. It's sure, the certainties of certain riders have been erased, but the question marks of other riders have arrived that bring me curious towards the mountain stages. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I am curious. I really don't know what's going to happen in the mountains now, and that was the same as last year with Vollering having crashed. It was really unclear what was going to happen in the mountains, and that Queen stage with the Glandon was a unbelievably good stage, like a historic stage. Any other news, Benji? Any things to tie up?
I don't really have anything, I'm afraid.
What's your view on, I guess we got to do the TDF recap show, but Pog's mood?
I don't know. You're spoiling the TDF recap show. What are we doing here? My man wants to make a 40-minute podcast today, it seems.
All right, I'll let you go. Okay, I didn't know. Okay.
I need to jump on the bike. I've got my mug here, my joint cycling mug. I'm going to jump on the bike after this. I've been climbing a Tour de France climb for the last 6 days. Today is day number 7, so I got to complete the week, Patrick.
Mrs. Rouge wants to go to some sort of cabaret show this evening. But I don't know. I'm a bit tired. We'll see how we fare. Anyway,
you'll make a great decision. I believe in you.
Yeah, we'll see you with the recap of the Stage 4 of the Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift tomorrow evening. Until then, ciao, ciao, ciao.